that watch your videos that have no idea what you're talking about.
Right. So BRIX is the measure of total dissolved solids in the plant sap. And the majority of that's going to be sugar. And depending on how much sugar is there, um, and minerals, there will be a percentage that's minerals as well. But depending on how much sugar is there, if the sugar starts getting over 6%, then you start having a lot of other compounds that are in there. Um, like polyphenols and um, other secondary metabolites that the plant's making that they really don't make a lot of below um, a BRIX of 6. And so it's predominantly sugar, regardless of where it is on the spectrum, it's predominantly sugar. But when you get above 6, you start getting secondary metabolites in, and those range, from terpenes to polyphenols to um, other aromatics and even different certain amino acids.
Yeah.
Um, until they get enough sugar, they can't produce these things because they're high energy cost molecules to make. These other
Hmm.
compounds are like most polyphenols. It's going to require a mole of sugar is going to make 27 moles of ATP, which is the energy currency for all life forms, whether it's plant or human or animals. And each sugar is going to make about 27 ATPs. Well, some of these other compounds, like polyphenols and whatnot, they take like 180 ATP to create one, right? So that means it takes 6 sugars to make one of these other things if you do that math, right? And so that kind of shows you why you can't even get these if you don't have a certain amount of sugar in the plant. Because the sugar is also the currency the plant uses with the microbial life
Hmm.
to feed them and get them to feed the plant back. What's not discussed as much is those same exudates, like it's feeding into the roots, it will push through out the pores of the plant that's above the ground too. And if it's producing those polyphenols and those aromatics and those terpenes, those are getting exuded through the plant matter that's above the ground as well as below the ground through the roots to attract microbiology. But those attract all your beneficials. They also attract beneficial biology that colonizes the plant surface. And so, like me and you are seeing a lot of the similar beneficials in
Yeah.
our gardens. And a lot of that is because our plants are at that health level where they're producing a bunch of those things and calling them in, those aromatics and polyphenols and different things, and those call those beneficials in. So,
Sweet.
and they
Nice.
also, when you get up there in those higher numbers, they also produce things that can repel um, herbivores and
Hmm.
make, first of all, the sugar's not digestible. So much sugar. Herbivores can only take in so much sugar in each different class of herbivore. Their gut has more or less compartments, and the more compartments they have, the more they're able to take in sugar. When like aphids, they don't have any compartments. They got one little fold, and so the sugar just goes right through and out. But if they get too much, it clogs up and it literally candies and crystallizes inside them and draws all because sugar attracts water. And it can pull water away from microbes. It can pull water away from a lot of things. And that's what it'll do is it'll pull all the water out of the aphid and crystallize it right there on the vine. And so sometimes if you go out and treat with something like armor that's going to raise the bricks,
Yep.
and then you go out the next day and you still see aphids piled up, touch them. Are they hard or are they mushy? Because they'll candy on the vine. And so they may not actually be alive just because you see them there. That's what I've noticed is like
Yeah.
second, third day after I go out and I'm like, why are these not gone? Like the other plants are gone, because it takes 24, 48, even 72 hours to get the bricks up as high as that spray will make it go. And usually those feeders leave or they crystallize on the plant. And I've noticed on peppers, a lot of times they crystallize. So I tell people to check if it's soft and has guts in it or if it's crispy.
Yeah. Well, I did find some crispy ones. In fact, it was a couple days ago. I went out and I was like, why is there still these bugs? And I did exactly that. I brought it in, put it under my loop, and I'm like, oh, you could see them. They were all like, they looked like they had holes in them, and they were hard. So I was like, oh,
There you go. So that could be the trichoderma
okay.
putting the holes in them, but the sugar probably killed them. They're called candied aphids.
Yum.
Yeah, yeah. Did you know that honeydew is actually harvested in some countries and processed into sugar?
Really?
Hmm.
I did not
It's
know that.
actually a really, really high-end sweetener in some countries.
Really? Isn't that
Hmm.
something?
Very similar to actual honey.